Hi, I'm Amy Carter from Boards Magazine. We're here for the RAA TV at Bree's House at the PSP Southampton Boat Show, and we're here with Nick Dempsey and Bryony. Nick, obviously silver medalist at the Weymouth Games, and Bryony a previous bronze medalist at the Olympics as well. We're just going to catch up with both Nick and Bryony and find out a bit more about their windsurfing history. So if we start with you, Nick, where did your windsurfing journey begin, and did you always dream of going to the Olympics?
I started windsurfing when I was 7, a small lake in Peterborough. Certainly wasn't thinking about the Olympics when I started windsurfing. Very much just started because I enjoyed it, and young kid enjoying windsurfing. It wasn't really until I got a little bit bored on our small lake and was introduced to racing maybe when I was about 11 years old, and then that's it really. And then once you're racing, you start looking at where you can go, and the Olympics it's up there, but it's not really a achievable goal when you're 11 years old. So probably not until I was about 15 did I really think, yeah, I'd like to go to the Olympic Games.
What happened? Was there anything specific that happened when you were 15, or did you just get more involved with the racing and start to think that you could actually make it to the Olympics?
I think I got just more involved in the RAA programme, and it just feeds in so naturally into the Olympic Games that, if you're in the junior squad, then, you naturally feed into the youth squad, and if you're in the youth squad and you manage to get to the youth worlds, then that obviously feeds you into the Olympic programme. And I was kind of lucky enough to be involved at a time when it was evolving together, and by the time I got to the seniors in the Olympic programme, there was kind of established funding and an actual viable route to get to the Games.
And yourself, Bryony, how did you get into windsurfing, and has it always been windsurfing that's been your main water sport, or do you take a part in other sports as well?
Well, I first tried windsurfing age 9. I was on holiday in France with my family, and really loved it, and we took it up as a family. So my mum used to windsurf as well, and my dad dinghy sailed, and so did my sister. And from the age of 11, every summer, that was our summer holiday to go sailing and windsurfing.
Okay. Do you view yourself as a windsurfer first and foremost, or as an Olympian, or did they kind of come hand in hand?
Oh, I definitely see myself as a windsurfer. I started off with a shortboard and sort of progressed into racing from there. I always found that I had this competitive streak in me, and that really attracted me towards the racing scene.
Okay. If you go back to Nick, obviously there's a massive amount of hype about windsurfing and lots of sports at the moment. What would be your advice to any kids coming up through the sport that are getting involved in windsurfing at the moment?
Probably don't take the Olympic route right now, with it being taken out of the Games currently. Well, I think any of the disciplines within windsurfing are, any of them are amazing, if that's what you enjoy. And, if you live on a lake in the middle of the country, you're probably best to concentrate on freestyle if you want to make some sort of career out of it, or enable yourself to get on the circuit and stuff. And, and if you live in Hawaii, then probably best you stick to hookeeper and learn to wave sail properly.
Okay, do you think, obviously you mentioned there the decision that windsurfing is currently not going to be an Olympic sport going forward. If this decision had been made, say, 8 years ago, 12 years ago, what do you think you would have done? Do you think you would have carried on windsurfing in a different way, or do you think you would have still tried to get to the Olympics but in a different class?
I would definitely have tried to get to the Games in a different class, yeah, without doubt.
So that was, the Olympics has been your primary focus?
Yeah.
Okay. And how about now, going forward?
Now, I mean, the Olympic. I love the Olympics. There's something very special about it. The kite surfing is, it's appealing because it's probably the easiest class for us to cross over to, and it's not established, so the level of it's really low compared to what it will become. So it's not such a daunting task to try and step into a class and become Olympic champion in 4 years. I think the kiting is the only thing you could actually do that in at the moment. So.
Are you kiting at the moment?
I've done a little bit of kiting.
How's it going?
I really enjoy it, it's very easy to pick up. So far so good, and but I'll do a bit more over the next few months and see what happens and see whether I think it's a viable option or not.
How about yourself, Bryony? What have you been up to since the games?
Yeah, I've got myself some kiting gear and been giving it a go. I think this time round there's so many more options for the girls, especially for Rio, in that there's a new women's skiff and catamaran and also the kites. So there's so many new things to try out there, and I think I'm not going to just solely focus on kite surfing right now.
Okay, but you think definitely another Olympic campaign in one form or another is what you're aiming for, or? Yeah,
I think Rio is really appealing. I think me and Nick are in a great position where we're both Olympic medalists, and we've got a great team around us, and I think very much feel part of that Olympic family. And if we can get the support going forward, and obviously the results to support that in our new class, then I think Rio will be really good fun.
Okay. And how about off the water since the games has finished? Obviously, there's been so much going on in the media across the whole country about the sport and the victory parades and everything. What's been the highlights after the games off the water for you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed going to the victory parade. I was in two minds as whether to go or not. Obviously disappointed to not medal at these games, but it's nice to come together as a team and keep that kind of atmosphere going. I think just to soak up the fact that London was so behind the games, and just to see everyone cheering, it was incredible to be part of that. And I think Nick was on the parade as well, and I think we really enjoyed it.
Yeah, how was the parade for you, Nick, and how does it feel to have such an amount of support from the country and everybody getting involved down in Weymouth?
Yeah, I mean, it was as you'd expect. It was amazing, completely overwhelming, and you can't really take it all in. I think there's 1 million people on the streets, and that is a lot. I mean, there was a lot of people, and it just went on for mile after mile. So, it just, unbelievable. The British public have been amazing in getting behind the Olympics, and it's just a fantastic opportunity to be part of a really pretty special British team.
Okay. So we've talked about obviously the options of doing kite surfing and different disciplines you could do. Have either of you thought about any other sports like dressage or judo or anything for the next games?
Yeah, dressage. Judo.
I won't say who put forward that question to be asked, but we thought you would say something sensible like cycling, but no.
I have considered cycling. We do a lot of cycling training, and I really enjoy. I think I'm quite a natural sprinter, so something like trying to take on Victoria Pendleton, something like that would be quite a challenge. But it's I think sailing's our home. It's kind of we're used to racing. I think that's definitely what we'll take across into the kiting world is the real sort of professionalism of racing, and I think we'll take it on to another level.
Okay. And the final question: do you think, obviously, at the games there was quite a lot of talk about kite surfing and the future of the Olympics for windsurfing? Do you think that kind of overshadowed the brilliant performances that obviously both of you and everybody else put in?
I think the fact that it was potentially the last, windsurfing. It did take the shine off it a little bit, and obviously at the time when everyone was talking about our potential for those games, there was always that kind of shadow of the kiting being chosen, and it was quite devastating initially. And I think now reflect on that, and it's time to move on and time to take on new challenges. And I'm still a windsurfer through and through, and from the age of 9. So, but yeah, once the decision's made, I think it's a case of taking on that new challenge.
Okay. Finally, Nick, just looking back on your performance at the games, do you think there was anything you could have done differently to beat Dorian?
I think it's very difficult to approach the games in a different way to, I think, how I approached it. I'd always planned to have quite a conservative strategy at the games, and with such, you often end up chasing quite a lot and not taking too many risks at the start. And my starting strategy is generally pretty safe. But actually, I think the way the course was set up and the way the start line was set up actually made it very difficult. And we maybe didn't adapt to that quite as well as we could have. I say we, Barry and I. I think I'd like to do a few more starts again. It made the week difficult. Dorian starting so well and me starting so badly. So I think that's the one thing I'd like to do again. Yeah.